Well, it's that time for another prop build. So here's the problem. I forgot that I wanted to film this. So I started taking it apart yesterday. And whatnot. So it's completely gutted inside. The only thing I left in here is that, because it doesn't need to be taken out. Removed these, removed all the parts. I still got to clean up some of the battery terminals. I did take out the majority of them. Well, the spots where the battery terminals go is where I got to clean. But anywho, let's take this apart real fast. There we go. So it's a little dirty inside. I mean, I wasn't expecting it to be clean. This is from the 70s or the 80s. I know they started making these in the 70s. But this one might actually be from the 80s. We're not sure. Anyhow, this is the gutted shell from my Kranta 3001 metal detector. This is going to be my newest prop once it's all completed. And yes, it's from Ghostbusters. So, now we get into it. Gotta figure out what's next. For future reference, that hole was taken by... I messed up with the Dremel tool. It hooked on the thing and just took it, and I kind of made that hole way too big. But anywho, before I begin, I know I said I took out the battery terminals and whatnot. The screw that's there, all right, it is a machined screw. There is a nut in the handle. Now that screw that goes in here goes all the way up into the top handle. I did not know there was a nut. I don't even know how you would get that nut out, because it's insane. But now I know that there's a nut there. So what I was doing was, since I thought it was stripped because how it was acting. I was like, there's no way in heck there's a nut up there. Can't be. Cannot be. So anywho, I ended up taking a Dremel tool, popping the head off of the screw, and then just kind of lifting it up. I will need a replacement screw for that. And actually, we can look at the instructions here. This little downloadable PDF I got with an electronics kit for it. We can look at the screw. So that right there is the screw, and it goes there. So yeah, yeah, I gotta learn about that. It doesn't even show a nut on that screw in that picture, by the way. But anyway, let's move on. I just wanted to show my mistake, so when I make another one of these, I'll remember that. Okay. So the picture that he used has a different one of these in it. So I'm just going to do my best. And if I mess up, I'm just going to buy another one, even though they're expensive. That's going to be a 1/4 hole. These two are going to be 9/64ths. And then here it's going to be a 15/64ths drill bit hole. And I'll go from there. If you're wondering, it's a potato masher. So yes. We'll get that figured out right now. Okay, so the drill gave me a little bit of a pain, but it was alright. If you're ever wondering why there's all these scratches and doodles and all this other stuff on my... Well, yeah, that's from drills and knives and other things like that, because I'm constantly working on something, you know? So my computer desk is also my workbench, so there we go. Alright, anywho. They came out pretty clean. I'm going to do some sanding, I guess. You know, on the bottom side, it looks a little... it's not too bad. There's going to be... probably... The only one I probably will sand is that top one. It won't stay up. Yeah, that's about it. But everything else, perfect. Now I do have to bend it. So I will, yeah, I'll do that at the right angle. Hopefully my my vise will work. So we'll see. 90 degrees. All right. Okay, so that is to a proper angle. It's a little off because it's not the right one that he sent. It's completely different from the picture. But that is a good replica. All right, let's see what's next. What am I going to do next? Mounting is as simple as centering the masher on the case. Drilling the holes through the case attached with the nuts and bolts. Did he give me them? There's not a lot of room in there, so you have to cut your bolts to whatever length you need. You can drop a hot glue on the bolts and you tighten them. All right, that's the next step. I'm gonna get on to it. Okay, so that is attached, and the LED light was put in. 2 screws were drilled, and these are the 9/16ths. And that is the 1564th hole. The 1/4 is up there. That was the biggest pain I have ever seen. That was a very big struggle with the bolts and whatnot. So, what's it called? I had to cut down the bolts so they fit, which we said before. And then this was difficult to get in. Then I figured it out, and then got that one in, so it looks a little bit professional. We're doing pretty good. I'm getting really excited about this. Next part to come is I have to trim down the pole. So we'll do that right now, and we'll be back. So I'm taking a break because I messed up on this. So I'm going to start over on that side. I also need to purchase some epoxy putty for it. So just going to take a couple minute break. Not a couple minute, but like just like a day or two until I can get it and get back to working on this thing again. So in the meantime, what I decided to do was work on this. This is my Ghostbusters costume. And I'm going to iron this on now. Got my nameplate on there, which is good. So I'm going to do that right now. And that's what I'm doing to pass the time. Well, there it is, all hung up. It's all ironed on and whatnot. I will take some stitches to it to secure it better. But that's it. Now I'm going to go back to working on the K.U.D meter. Hello all, I'm very sorry about the glare. Just noticed that I was filming. This is take 5, by the way. Take 4 was ruined because of the bad glare. I had to take care of it somewhat. The other takes were because I can't stop cursing. And I don't do that on this channel. But anywho, we are on our way to Lowe's because today is day 2 of the K.U.D meter build. And I'm going to take care of that. I need this gauge of wire. I wasn't supposed to cut off the wires, but they were so heavily corroded, I needed to do something. I want this meter to be brand new, you know, and looking sharp. But anywho, I also need to go to the CV shop. The guys at the CV shop, I sold them a speaker last week, and apparently they used the box for an eBay auction. Well, they left my name on it and my address, and I got the box from the eBay auction. So I'm sure that guy, wherever he is like, why is it saying delivered? Where's my package? Blah blah blah. You know. But anywho, I'm a good person, so, and I'm gonna bring it over there, and they're lucky I'm a good person. You know, law-abiding all the way. Anyway, That's what I'm doing right now. Then I'm going to go to Lowe's. I need to get epoxy putty, this wire, and solder. And then we can continue our build. It's going to go well. I wish I looked at the instructions before it said do not cut these wires or cut them here. But it doesn't matter anyway because they were really corroded. Now the person I bought this meter off of eBay said that, no, it works fine, you'll have fun. It doesn't work fine. It didn't work. It was all corroded inside, you know. Oh, I assure you it works. No, your assurance doesn't mean anything to me because it doesn't work. And I showed her pictures, or him or her, whatever, pictures of the inside of it, and it's bad. You know, there's no way possible it would work. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Just don't lie to me that it works when it doesn't. I don't need it to work. Well, I technically need it to work, but at the same time, I know that I just need it to run the new chip that I installed, like the new computer chip, whatever you want to call them, that runs the lights, the sounds, and all this other stuff. But all right, I've talked too much. Let's get back to the build. Okay, it's a little lopsided right now because it's not attached or anything. It's not screwed in. It will be a little bit lopsided, just a tiny hair, when it's completely screwed in and whatnot, because that epoxy dries really fast. So it's going to be a little tiny bit off, but I'm not worried about it. I'm not worried about it at all. This is just me learning, and I will buy another one and do what I know, use what I know to make it better. You know? That's all this is about. Building, learning, and just having fun with it, you know? I put a little too much epoxy in there, and I couldn't get that on, that little button there on, so I had to take my Dremel tool and Dremel most of it out, so I know not to use that much next time. So that's what it's looking like right now. Let's go to the next part. Okay, so what he shows in the picture is a completely different switch, but that's okay. You're going to have to drill out a 1/4 hole for this little switch, and then turn it around. It'll look like that inside, and it's attached to this long harness. Let's see what's next. After that, alright, we're going to go down to the harness. This kit comes with 4 wiring harnesses, 1 for the battery, 1 for the red blinking light, and 2 for the gauge and speaker. The battery, speaker, and gauge harness will require the ends to be stripped, tinned, and then soldered in the correct places. Okay. So that's the gauge harness. Okay. So these two right here, this is the gauge harness wiring. Now, starting with the gauge, first you'll have to remove the old wiring. Heat up 2 terminals with your soldering iron. Pull the old wires off. Oh. So that has to come out anyway? Okay. So that's got to come out. I did not know that. So we're going to figure out how to take that out and go from there. Okay, so I soldered the wires off. Just got to get I got to get the soldering tool in there now and figure it out. Okay, for this next part, I have to solder this. Oops, got stuck. This wire, the red wire has got to be on the left. So I got to solder them into there. Now it was a very tight space, so what I did was I got the idea from my father actually, because I was like, how am I going to get the soldering tool in there? Well, he said just take a snipper tool to it and just open it up. So good idea. It's not going to be seen. The thing's going to still be flush in there, so it doesn't matter. So here is my first ever attempt at soldering. Okay, so my first ever soldering went okay. It was good. I put the heat shrinks on there. I haven't shrunk them yet. I don't think I'm going to. I just wanted to push them up. So now I have to hot glue that bar down there with the 2 white strips to it. I'll put that on there. So the hot glue gun is getting ready, and then on each side I will hot glue it, and we'll be all set. It's looking pretty good. Okay, so that is all taped and glued in with hot glue. I went ahead and soldered on the speaker wires. And now next I got to take this battery harness and solder it on to here. So I will take care of that now. Okay, so I soldered that, shoved that down there. I just attached all of the wiring to the motherboard. That's the word I was trying to figure out before, motherboard. I'm an idiot. Yeah, I'm going to see the next step and go from there. It looks like it says turn over your meter and look at the alignment of the rotary switches. They don't have to be perfectly centered in the holes, but if you have any that look way off or will make it difficult to put the knobs on, you can remove the board and loosen the hold down nuts for the rotary switches back on the board slightly and adjust them. Okay, so hopefully my knobs are in the right location. The holes that I fit are made to say the knob for the volume won't fit on the new updated switch and will require some modification. I found reaming or drilling it out with a 15/64 drill bit works well. If you don't have a drill, let's see. The knob for the volume. Okay, let's actually just turn this over. Oh, that's all fine. Alright, I don't want to touch anything. I just felt like oh, okay. I felt like I pulled out a wire, but it was this wire. And I don't actually have anything to do with this wire, so I'm actually probably just going to cut it out. Alright, let me go figure this out and we'll go from there. Y'all, it is finished. Let's turn off this back light here. Look at that. It is finished. Now, you're wondering, what does this thing do? Well, we have that noise. So let's just, I'm going to go all the way to the front. Okay, that's as far as it goes. So I can change the dial here and change the different colors. You see that's red, green, red, blue where I had it. I like that one. I think that's white, yellow, pink or purple, orange. That's it. That's it. I really like the blue. I like that one. Now, I'll show you the sounds. That's the one detecting sound. That's the other detecting sound. Not a fan of that one. It's still the same sound, by the way. Okay. So that's another one. LED is flashing. And then it plays It plays parts of the movie.
Ray, when someone asks you if you're a god, you say yes. We have the tools. We have talent.
It's Miller time.
Tell them about the Twinkie. What about the Twinkie?
Do you believe in UFOs, astral projections, mental telepathy, ESP, clairvoyance?
Oh, I'm so happy. Y'all, this was a fun build. I'm thinking about building these to sell them with this soundboard in it. So,
I love this plan. I'm excited to be a part of it.
Yeah, I'm just blown away by this. This was just such a fun build. I learned how to solder. I learned how to, do electronic stuff. I'm just blown away. I mean, just absolutely blown away by it.
Always a quiet one. You have.
Go back to my favorite one. Okay, now turn it off. Y'all, I'm just so happy. I got my K.U.D meter. If you want to know something, K.U.D meter is kitchen utensil detector. That's what it stands for, because that's a strainer and that's a potato masher. So yes, it's done. I'm happy. Just another piece to the puzzle. Y'all have a good day, and thank you so much for watching this. Be safe, and until the next build, I'll be back.